What's up, friends? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Today, I hope, is the first day of the rebirth of the red brick house. Shout out to my man Jet, who may have gotten some leeway on the red brick house where we can change the designation of the zoning to be able to turn it back into a single family home. And if that's the case, by next month, we're going to start working on making that place livable. Hopefully the ghosts won't mind in there. So I'm actually going to go in the city here, the treasurer's office, and drop this paperwork off and go over there and cut the grass. Yeah, buddy. Well, hello, guys. I'm actually inside of the red brick house, and it doesn't look like much right now. But for me, I've been trying to do something with this for 4 years now. And it's been kind of a nightmare because of the rulings. Hopefully this can begin to be the process of beginning to start working on this. I've got a lot of work to do. I'm not gonna, bullshit you. We've got to basically take the roof structure here and put a temporary wall up, rip out this wall, and end up digging out a foundation right here to go and rebuild the floor here. This was actually the kitchen. So what we have is the early 1900s, they ended up putting this part of the house on here. This is the original structure of the house, which has all of the masonry walls. Now, because it's original and because the masonry walls have to breathe, you don't want to cover those up. So what we're gonna do is we'll get all the paint scraped off of it. Of course, it's lead paint, so we gotta be careful about that. But we'll go through and use that same lime mortar and reparge all the walls. The ceiling up here, of course, we'll just end up redoing. The steps are in great shape, and we have to reframe up the flooring underneath of here. I've actually already got the drawings done for that, but because we had to get a designer to figure out the commercial uses and the problems with the parking, we could never get the permit on doing that. So this section here, really, we'll end up putting in electrical outlets, and we'll end up cleaning all this up, but this is going to look much like it originally did. The staircase, I absolutely positively love. We'll go through, we'll sand out all of this stuff and put it back to where it was, but I want to keep that. This room right here, again, we got the stairs going up. We have the woodworking that's up in here. We do have a little bit of an issue with some of the joists here because this was put in to support these. So we're probably gonna have to cut out a little bit more and put another header up in here to really support that upper floor up around this other fireplace hearth and stuff. But I wanna keep all of the old brick and stuff that's in here. We'll point all this stuff up, and we might even just take all of this off so we can actually, look at this, pull this off. So we can actually go through and see the beauty of all these old bricks and things that are here. And again, you got to use lime mortar, because if you use regular mortar on this stuff, it will literally disintegrate. So we'll go through and we'll take care of these things. Another issue, when you're dealing with something of this age, you've got to understand that you have to rebuild it the way that it was designed. And one of the problems I had with getting a permit was it's commercial. So if I turn this into, say, a lawyer's office or a barber shop, we'd have to go through, frame up the walls, and insulate it, okay, which is not a bad thing. These walls are about, well, you can see how thick the walls are. It's all brick. Actually, when this place gets warm, it stays warm. When it gets cool, in fact, it's actually chilly in here right now, even though it's about 75 degrees outside. This brick is porous and it breathes. So if you end up sealing this up, and we have to be careful with the paint that you use, you need to use a masonry paint that actually breathes, that allows that exchange of moisture. If you end up sealing this up, what'll happen is these rafters and things that are in the wall or floor joists will rot out. And that's why you have to be very, excuse me, very careful when you're dealing with an old house like this. So that's why we will parge the walls and so forth and leave those actually exposed like it was. I'll go through and redo the sashes, but I want it to feel like it originally did. Now see, this portion of the house right in here was the dining room. Of course, another chimney that's in here. And you can see, this is what's amazing. The heating system was actually up under the floor here, so it would have been just a gas-fired unit. This was the bathroom, and you can see the bathtub. Take a look at how short that bathtub is, okay? It's like 4 foot, because when they put these things in, it, of course, look, clawfoot bathtub. When they put these in, people weren't that big, and they didn't bathe on a daily basis. So we'll end up, restoring the bathtub. We'll end up putting a toilet and a vanity up in here, and then upstairs we'll put another bathroom above it, so that way this could actually be a bedroom, and this may be my man Jet's room that's down in here. And again, this is what amazes me. You see how low the doors are. I don't want to change that. In fact, I want to restore the doors themselves because it's part of history. And if we made this a commercial space, this would have to be a handicap accessible bathroom. So we're ending up changing the size. We'd end up not being able to use these doors and things like that. Look at this one. Holy smokes. Oh, that's because it's the step down. I was like, wait a minute. Were they midgets back then? The kitchen floor steps down. What I probably will do is when we reframe this up is I'll bring it to the same height as the rest of this, possibly, but I haven't gotten that far. But you look at the floor joists and things, and they're literally resting. Look at this. That whole floor is resting on this short cross member here. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up putting in some more floor joists in there, because you see the door frame is the header. The door frame is the header, although this wood is a lot stronger, but that's helping to carry up. Look at that, the roof line. Yeah, so we'll be working on some things like that to bring it up. We'll end up basically going through here and putting in a header across the top, so that way we can support not only these rafters for the ceiling, but also that beams up in there. And it looks like we've got the same thing all the way across. Basically, what we'll just need to do is carry these down into the base, so that way we can transfer the load to the ground. And I tell you, this is all antique hard pine that's about 100+ years old, and it's hard as a rock. So we'll go through and do that. We'll reframe up the floor. We'll probably put in a tongue and groove pine floor on here too, just to keep it like it originally was. So this is what we're looking at here on the main level. Now let's go upstairs. Now again, you can see the undulation of the floor here, and this is where basically we're going to build a new flooring system and then let the rest of it down onto it to get it closer to level. Up here is where I love. Michael had actually gone through and did the demo work. You can see some of the holes that are in the roof itself. We'll end up getting a new roofing put onto it. But I want to keep these beams open. So what we'll do is we'll put a tongue and groove flooring above there and be able to use rigid insulation or blown in insulation on top of it. So that way we'll get an insulation value. But then you can see the beauty of the wood that is here. And I think I probably will leave in, this is early electrical wiring that was put in back in the day. Basically, you had your hot and your neutral. They just ran them on through there. This is a thing of beauty to me. You can see they came in later on. But look at those rafters. Those are oak. Giant A-frames. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful up there? It looks like about 2.5, maybe 3x3s that go up and tie in at the top. Now that's a beam. So what we'll do again in here, we'll keep this as just one giant room. We'll redo the staircase, of course, here to make sure that that's safe going around. But again, we'll parge the walls. What's really nice is I remember the first time that I took the plywood off the walls and having the sunlight come through for the first time in like 15 years. I've gone through before, and you can see the sashes. I actually took the original pieces and I matched up what I could save and put them together. And look, we ended up using the original window weights. So the window weights and the ropes, there's these steel or iron window weights that go up and down, and the rope carries it. So look at that. So it just balances it, and feel that air coming in. One thing that you'll find out about old houses, now when you look over here, you see how low the doors are. But what you'll notice with old houses is the windows are really, really tall. And there's a reason behind that, because the reason is hot air rises. You open up the windows and you get that exchange. So all that hot air will go through it. This place, believe it or not, even though it can be 90 degrees outside, is actually pretty cool inside because of, again, the brick. So again, we'll go back through, we'll parge the walls, we'll take care of repairing any bricks that need to be repaired. We'll restore the fireplaces. We won't use them, of course, but we'll restore them. And here we go again. Another one of these short doors. And this area drops down. So this will become then the second bedroom in here. Now, what we'll do to try and keep from changing as little as possible, I don't want to disturb this. Right below me here is the bathroom that I was showing you. What we can do is we can actually take this stuff off of here, and this can become another bathroom. We'll probably put, let's say the door would be right here. We could end up putting the bathtub right across here, have the toilet and a vanity, or we could get a little more creative. We could actually take a little more space over from here if we wanted to make it a little bit larger of a bathroom, because that closet is actually pretty good size. And you can see we got another window in the closet. I didn't even notice that that was in there. Of course, we got to put new siding on here. So this will become another bedroom and so forth with the bathroom on it. So we'll get that squared away. This flooring is actually in pretty good shape. So it's a matter of really just dealing with the issue downstairs. And again, we have another chimney. But what we'll do, because I don't want this to change much of the look, but I want to bring it up to modern standards, okay? So we talked about these brick walls. We'll just reparge them, which also helps to keep the cost down too, because we're not drywalling and anything like that. We'll end up putting the wood flooring above, so that way you can see all of that, which is great. So it's not, I mean, it's a lot of tongue and groove material up in there, but it'll look beautiful. What we'll do, and check this out, look at that detail on the brick. You're looking at 201 years of brickwork. Look at those scallops, handmade. But what we'll do is, to keep this so it will be heated and air conditioned, instead of putting in one air conditioning unit, what we will do is we'll actually frame this up with heavier material, of course. And we can put the air conditioning unit up in here. So what we'll do is we'll put one unit up here and have registers in the ceiling, have it carry through in this space. The ductwork, we can basically cut the ductwork and have it come through here on top of that, and be able to put registers to feed in around in there. So that way you don't see any bulkheads, you don't have to touch the brickwork, and you don't have to run anything downstairs. And we'll do the reverse in the basement. What we'll do is we'll put a unit underneath and have all the registers in the floor. This way, what you see right now is kind of how this is going to look when it's completed. You'll have an access to get up in here, change the filter, but you won't see any ductwork. You know, because again, these ceilings are kind of on the low side, so you don't want to, you know, drop down and have a bulkhead in here. So that's what we're looking at. It's going to be a very, very simple house. My man Jet will be here. When I come down here, I have a place that I'll be able to stay, and we'll be able to preserve some history here with this red brick house. I'm excited as can be about the opportunity to finally get a chance to get this thing together. Oh, man. So take a look, guys. Hopefully 30 days from now, we'll start making this totally different. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys. And I can't wait to give you guys progress reports on how this is all coming. Yeah, this is gonna be great.